Oh, I've already got it open. You can hear me? Can you? But I'm not even talking. Oh, okay, wait. Problem dialing in. Yes. So why won't it hear? There is no sound, but some people can hear me. But all I hear is music. Can you hear me now? Oh, good. I feel like that commercial. Can you hear me now? Good. All right, hold on. Because all I was hearing was music, and then I was watching all the comments, and I'm like, oh, crap, this silly thing is not even going. Okay. So screen is paused, monitor 2, slideshow from the beginning. Yeah. Yay, everybody can hear me. Okay, so can you now can you see my screen now? It says bookings and commissions, the front page. Can you hear that? Yes. Okay, perfect. Yay. All right, I don't know what was happening at the beginning, everybody, but it seems like we are back in business, so that's fabulous. Hi, this is Dayna Smith, Vice President of Operations, and thank you so much for joining our special Wednesday night webinar. So what I want to do is jump right in. A couple of housekeeping rules. Now, normally when we do the webinars, we've got a couple of folks doing the chat box, doing the question box, and actually the presenter isn't doing either of those things. But in this instance, yay, I'm doing all of them because, hey, I kind of know how to do all the webinars. So that being said, thank you so much for joining this interactive webinar on Wednesday. We're going to spend the next hour talking about bookings and commissions and just making sure everybody understands the process. Now, if you do have questions throughout the presentation, you can utilize the question box. And what I will do is look at the question box at the end and try to answer as many questions as I can. But I hope going through the presentation, we're actually going to answer a lot of your questions. So we will see what that and how it all goes. So let's just jump in and get going because I do talk a lot and I'm going to take up this whole hour, no problem. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so I know we've got a lot of newer agents on the line and that's great. Thank you so much for taking this journey of travel and understanding the travel industry and the Intelligent Traveler Resolution as part of the InteleTravel team. What I want to do is take a little bit of time going through the process, understanding it all from the beginning all the way up through the commission stage. So, of course, when you have a new business, you want clients, and those clients are, of course, going to want to book a trip. So what we have to do is qualify the clients and make sure that we're setting them up for the best experience possible. Because really that's why they're coming to you. They want you to not only put a great vacation together for them, but also one that's going to have lasting memories, take all the hassle away from them. They won't have to worry about everything, right? So we are going to do it all for them. But first we want to qualify them and make sure that we get them in the right product. So yes, qualify your client. You're not that website. You're not an 800 number. So what you want to do is build a relationship. Really, and I've been in the travel industry since about 1996. It's all about, wait, a lot of people can't hear me. Why can you not hear me? Some people can hear me. Some people can't. Can you guys hear me? Put yes in the question box so that I know. Okay, perfect. Yes. Oh, I got tons of yeses. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So for the ones of you that can't hear me, I'm not sure. Maybe you need to refresh your screen. That does happen a lot. Sometimes your own internet at home, the connection can get a little wonky and you might go in and out. But don't worry, this is being recorded and it is going to be posted in the InteleTutorial section of your back office in just a couple of days. So if you do have some sound issues in and out, don't think that this is the only time you'll get the information. Like I said, this webinar, just like all of our webinars, are posted in your back office for you in that InteleTutorial section. Okay, so let's get back to the qualifying the client. Really, it's a relationship that you're building with your client. You want to get to know them. You want them to be comfortable with you, because at the end of the day, when you do all this and it's all said and done, you're going to turn around and ask them for, you know, $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 to book this trip. So they've got to be real comfortable with you and build that rapport. How do you do that? When you're qualifying the client, it's like a conversation. You get to know your clients. And I know a lot of you will post in social media, and a lot of you utilize social media for your marketing purposes, and that's great. But you really don't want to do your whole transaction where you don't really interact with your client and get to know them. I'm telling you, by the end of the booking, even if it's just a business trip or whatever, you want to know everything there is to know about your clients, and you're writing them all down. Because even if it isn't for this trip, you'll know for future trips all about your client and how to market to them. So, and while you're talking to your client, of course, you're going to understand what the purpose of the trip is. Is it a celebration? Are you going for some relax? Is it a business trip? What's going on? You kind of want to, you know, put it out there and talk to them. While maybe they're saying, oh, it's just a business trip, I need to go to Chicago. Oh, well, how long you're there? Find out if there's things that they want to see or do while they're there. You know, you're looking up hotels, you're looking at your cars, and you can have a conversation in between, filling in those gaps, finding out what they like to do while they're in Chicago. If you've ever been there, you might even throw out some, oh, well, make sure you check this out, or go to this restaurant, or see these sites, because that's a fun way to build rapport with your client. Of course, if it's for vacation, you want to ask some open-ended questions. You don't really want to do yes, no's, because then your client's just going to say yes or no, and then that's it. No more conversation is happening. So find out, you know, would they consider cruise, land, or even a rail trip? What are the types of trips that they're interested in? Even if they want to cruise this time, you know, do you like land also? Just, you know, just finding out about them so that you'll know in the future what they like. You definitely want to find out who's traveling with them, and you want to find out the date of birth for all those people traveling with them, right? Because especially right now, lots of folks aren't really booking for right now, but we are getting lots of business for the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, midway through 2021. So maybe those kids are 12 right now, and you ask them how old they are, and they say 12. But by the time, you know, 2021 in June turns around, they'll be 13, and maybe they wouldn't qualify for some of those kids-free programs and the like. So it's always best to get the dates of birth for everybody traveling in the party, so that you're sure to be able to get discounts if they are qualified for those, but as well as knowing their ages through the dates of birth. Do you need airfare? Of course, you want to ask that up front. If they're open to going to other airports. I know here in South Florida, you know, I'm closest to Fort Lauderdale Airport, but hey, if I'm going to save $250, I'll drive 45 minutes to Miami, or I'll drive 45 minutes to West Palm in the other direction. So find out from your clients if other airports are convenient to them and if they're open and flexible. In addition to the flexibility around the airport, find out if their dates are flexible at all, because lots of times, and those that have been in the travel industry for a while will know that dates can make all the difference, especially if airfare is involved.
sometimes going out on a Tuesday to Tuesday would be maybe you can save a whole bunch of money on the airfare as opposed to going Saturday on and coming back on a Saturday, right? So you'll want to ask that client, are they flexible a couple of days in either direction, so that you can look at those different dates and see if it makes a difference at all. Again, staying with the favorite trips, what you'll want to do is ask them where their past trips have been that they loved. What were those trips and what kind of things did they do? Oh, we went zip lining. Oh, I went swimming with the dolphins. Or, oh, we got to shop all day. Or I got to see the museum. Or we sampled some wine. You can write all these things down. So even if they're only going on their Chicago business trip, you know that they're a wine drinker, right? You know that they love to zip line, or they love shopping, or they love the historical sites. And you can get all of that data, and that will help you for future marketing trips. So you'll want to put all that in. What hotels have you stayed in and liked the best? Now that's a clue to the budget, right? Because if they say, oh, I stayed at the Fontainebleau, or I stayed at the W, or I stayed at, the Marriott or the Sheraton, you get an idea of their budget. But if they're saying, oh, anything with a number attached to it, maybe they're saying Hotel 6 or, Motel 8 or all those kinds of things, then you also get an idea of what their budget looks like. So ask them where their favorite hotels, what they like the best, and all of that will work to your favor as well. Then after you've talked to your client and you get an idea of what they like, now you want to browse your partners and see what's going to be the best fit for them. So, of course, everybody hopefully is familiar with that red preferred partner guide that is located in your back office. Some of you might have a hard copy because you were at an event where we gave the actual hard copy books away, and you may have one in your library. But if you don't worry about it, because it does live in your back office. You can go right to the Book Travel tab, and it is right under Preferred Partners, and then you can either download the actual PDF Preferred Partner Guide, or you can do some of the quick flips as I have right here on the screen. You can flip the boxes, so you can mouse over some of our partners, and it'll give nice little details underneath. You'll flip it open. It's like a little tile. And it'll tell you how to register, what the commission amount is, how to book, and the like. So it's like just a fast way to see. But of course, all that information is in the red Preferred Partner Guide as well. So you'll want to be familiar with our preferred partners and what they do. There are a lot of them. So what you'll want to look for is, of course, understanding the right partner for your client's vacation. Of course, you'll want to narrow it down. You want to understand. So let's say you're looking and you're flipping over and you see one's good for the Caribbean. You're looking through the guidebook and you see, this cruise destination goes to the Galapagos, or whatever the case may be. It'll help you narrow it down. So again, you can do those flip tabs, and that's right there in that. I'm going to go back. I see a lot of you ask me about the flip tabs and the little boxes. The preferred partner, when you click on that, the preferred partners, it'll give you some information. If you scroll down in your screen, when you see this information up top, all these tiles are down below. So you may have to scroll a little bit when you're in your back office. They're not going to show right away. You have to get and scroll your mouse down towards the bottom of the page, and that's where you find them. Okay, so you're going to narrow down, find out about what to look for. How do we do that? So you're not going to know everything there is to know, especially coming in. Travel is a lot of information. Maybe you're going to start with one partner and learn them very well. But maybe your client wants to go to Aruba and you don't know anything about Aruba, okay? You're not going to not have that client or make that booking. Absolutely not. You are going to do your research and then find out which partner is going to be the best. So when you're doing and looking at, maybe it's a webinar in the back office. You want to learn about AM resorts, or and some of those AM resorts like Secrets, or Breathless, or any of those chains. You'll do the webinar and you'll learn about them, or you're going to look in the preferred partner guide, and then you'll get to pick up things of maybe kids are free at some resorts. Maybe they don't service kids at some resorts. Maybe some resorts include the transfers. Maybe some, will give a free upgrade for the transfers, depending on whatever category of hotel that you book. So you will want to play around and understand and look at our different preferred partners and what they have to offer. There are so many things to look at before you build the quote, and we get it. So again, please remember to look at your training. That's really where it comes in handy. That InteleTutorial section in your back office, you can narrow it down of what and how those partners will show. So in that InteleTutorial section, basically you can either look at the specific resort, right? Or you want to look at a specific partner. Maybe you want to look at, for example, on the screen should be the Delta Vacation. Maybe you want to understand GoGo, AM Resort, VAX. Or you can pick the category and pick adventure travel. And when you click on that, all the different ones with adventure travel would come up, and you can start to narrow it down that way. So you definitely want to make sure that you check out your education and look at that webinar. Okay, so now registering with the partners. Okay, everybody's different. All of our preferred partners, some of them, have shared logins. Some of them have individual registrations. So you want to make sure you read and understand the instructions that's also located in that partner page to get set up. If it's a shared login, please make sure that you don't change the login. It's a shared login for a reason. Everybody's got the same password. So if it is one of the shared logins, do not create your own, because then everybody else gets locked out, right? So the shared logins, we've got that login information, and that's how you utilize those. Individual logins are different. Those, some are self, some we need to help you, but they're all listed right there in your back office. So make sure that you read through and understand how to do the registrations for your different suppliers. Okay, now when it comes to getting the quote, couple of tips that I want you to take away from this. Definitely you'll want to offer a couple of options. You always want to offer what they want, right? So, but you'll want to play around and look to upsell your customer all the time, giving them the value, because lots of times they'll say, oh, okay, we want to go to Paris, but, we only want to spend $500. Well, that's not true. They're not going to go to Paris and just sit in their hotel. They want to go all over the place. So offer, the different excursions, upsell the different activities, and even upsell on the hotel itself. So you will want to offer what I like to call high, middle, and low for your hotel price quote. So the high end would be really going for the gusto, saying, if you want to throw in a concierge or the butler service, or maybe it's a suite, or maybe it is an upgraded suite. Maybe they asked for a suite, but you're going to price the swim out suite or the one with the plunge pool. You're going to give a little extra. Then the middle is really what I like to say, what they asked for. That's going to be the middle range. So if they asked for, a regular suite, or if they asked for just a king size room, you'll throw that in there. And then the low end would be kind of the lead-in category, so a step down. So if what you quote them, what they wanted is a little high, and they kind of balk, then you give them that third option where they'll say, oh, okay, well, we can still go and we can stay at this price, right? So always start with the high one and build that experience You throw a story. Maybe you've been somewhere where they had concierge or butler service, or you stayed at a suite and it was really nice, or you had, the upgraded all-inclusive with the top shelf liquor, and you want to give that experience and just build it all in their minds so that they understand, oh, okay, it's, maybe just for this few $100s more. Yes, that does make all the difference. Yes, I do remember the last time where we had the shared transfer, that private transfer back and forth to the hotel would make a difference for me. So those types of things and those little details, your clients, especially if they've traveled before and you're painting that story for them, they will appreciate and understand it. Maybe they go for it, maybe they don't. But even if they don't go for it this trip, there's going to be another trip down the road, an anniversary, maybe it's a girls trip or something where they want to take a little bit extra, a special birthday celebration or something, and they know that you do, luxury and upscale trips as well, because you're always quoting that way. So you never want to assume the budget of your client, because lots of time our clients might be friends, family, coworkers, and maybe you see them every day, that coworker, and they're brown bagging it, for lunch. They're not going with you to Longhorn or Chipotle or Chick-fil-A for lunch every day. But because they're not spending $10, $15 a pop for lunch, they take that money and put it in their vacation fund, and that's why they're brown bagging it every day. So you never really want to assume the budget of somebody, even if you know them and see them on a regular basis, because lots of times people will cut corners and take that great vacation. They want to put money in that vacation fund so that they can pull it all out and go, right? So we want to keep that in mind. Okay, now what I want to jump into and have you understand when it comes to the travel industry. A lot of us are new on the line and they're new to travel. And travel is one of those things. It's an awesome industry, so much fun. The energy is great. It's always a good time. But there's a certain part that's kind of, and the only word I can use for it is a little bit of organized chaos, because that's what it is. Especially a lot of us might work 9-to-5 jobs somewhere else, and we're doing this part-time, or we're looking to maybe transition to this full-time. One of the things about travel that's just always there, it is a transaction and technology business, but there are a lot of pieces that revolve around even one single transaction. I'll give you an example. So for an airfare ticket, let's say you purchase airfare in the back office, which is great. But of course, maybe you're buying a Air France ticket, so it's not our inventory. We've got it from somewhere else. We bought it from, we contracted with an aggregator that's loaded in our back office. So it's our back office to that aggregator. And then that aggregator maybe have gotten it from Air France. So now we have to connect to Air France's system. So there's 3 different systems here. And of course, everybody's got their own system. It's not a universal system. So the systems sometimes talk nicely. Sometimes they don't play in the sandbox nicely, right? And things maybe break down along the way. And then in all these different spots, you have humans that also are in charge, and they check this and check that, or maybe they have to jump in and help. And that's just for one airline ticket. So it's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 places before it's actually ticketed and sent and done. Now, it's supposed to all be done simultaneously. I mean, it's supposed to happen boom, 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 boom. But you can see where, with so many different technological platforms in play, where things have the potential of being delayed, or some part of the trip might be booked and another part might not be, or something might be perfect and something else needs to be, looked at again, or maybe that virtual credit payment didn't go through right away, or perhaps the room didn't confirm right away. So there is a step and there is an understanding with travel that there's always going to be this sense of, do I have it all correct? And travel agents always have that hat of wanting to check and make sure. So even if you book something through Vacation Express, yes, you'll want to reconfirm with the hotel direct that they have that hotel reservation. Even if you book it with Apple Leisure Group, yes, you will want to contact and make sure that at that final destination, wherever they're going, they have the booking as well, right? Because there's always kind of that, yes, technological business, but many pieces to that puzzle. So a lot of us come from a background where you push the button and then it's done. That's not travel. And I just want everybody to understand that it's a complex process. There will always be maybe a tech issue, maybe some human error that can happen, but how we handle that is what separates the good from the bad. Okay. And in a technological age, people are understanding if, oh, the system went down, or, oh, it has to reboot, or, oh, we've got to wait on that confirmation. They get it too. So we don't want to just freak out and think that either the booking engine didn't work, or something happened with my booking, or, oh my gosh, it's all broken. No, it might just be a little piece, and once that's fixed and tweaked, everything's perfect, right? We're here for you. InteleTravel's got your back. We're always making sure that we take care of the client, and we understand that even if, they show up at the hotel and that virtual credit card hasn't gone through, we'll work with that client and make sure that everything is fine. So please understand that we've got your back, but also understand travel is one of those things where there's always going to be stuff that pops up. And this has been since 1996 all the way through today, not just with InteleTravel, but all the companies I've worked with over the course of that tenure. It's been the same type of thing. And once it gets into your blood, you either love travel or you're just pulling your hair out because your personality isn't one that can roll with the punches and kind of, deal with things as they come and have that great attitude. But I tell you what, that is one of the things about travel. So you do never really want to let them see you sweat. You do want to make sure that, sure, we're going to take care of your client, but we don't want you to have your, freak out, because then your clients freak out, right? One of the reasons they're coming to you as a travel agent is to deal with all of the back end stuff and make sure it's all fixed. So we help you with that, but you want to work with your suppliers and work through any potential issues to get them all smoothed out prior to the day of the trip. Okay, so now let's get to what I want to spend a little bit time on, is understanding the commissions and registering the booking. So commission basics, of course, what is commission? How do you earn it? How are the commissions paid? And understanding HyperWallet. Now, anything that is booked through an outside vendor, the agent books the reservation for the client. The supplier then verifies the agency credentials and the validity of the booking. That's why you always have to give your agency credentials, IATA or CLIA number, whenever you make a booking, because if you don't, they just think it's a consumer making a booking and they won't pay the commission. So once you give those credentials, the supplier will give us the commission. We post the commission to your report, and you will receive the commission payment following the month of the posted date after travel. Okay, so let's first talk about why and how a booking should be registered. Basically, anything that's not booked in your back office is considered an outside booking and needs to be registered. So if you're on your back office and you book a car or a hotel or the airfare in your back office, and you turn around and look at your commission report, you will see that automatically uploaded onto your commission report, right? Anything else you have to upload manually, and we call that registering your booking. So if you book it from Carnival Direct, if you go to Vacation Express, if you go to Apple Leisure Group, if you go to Norwegian and you make a booking, then you have to register that booking in your back office, okay? Where you do that, of course, is under the Book Travel tab, and then choose the option Register Outside Booking. You're going to enter all the details and upload any travel documentation that validates the reservation as yours. And then once you hit submit, it will show up then on your commission report. But it's very, very important to remember to get register your outside bookings and register them in the back office, because if you don't register them, we don't know it belongs to you. And when that vendor then makes a payment to us, we don't have anything to match it up to your PIN number and your name to give you the credit. So it's just sitting in a suspense account waiting for you to claim it. And until it's claimed, it's just going to sit there until you claim your booking. So it's really, really important to make sure you register your outside bookings. Now, I will say they make it a little bit tricky, and there's no easy way to say that. Every supplier is kind of different. I know if you've been selling a couple of things, you might have confirmations from these suppliers with a whole bunch of numbers on them. And you never know which one to register, right? Sometimes they will give you a confirmation number and a reference number. And you don't know which one to put as the booking number. Sometimes it's a group and they'll pay it at the group level and only send us a check for that group booking. Or sometimes it's a group and you have to do all your individual bookings within that group and have to register them that way. So it's very confusing. I will give a little bit of insight, but the list is always changing. So a couple of tips as well. Number one, for the vendors off the top of my head that I know pay at the group level, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Marriott. So if you have a group with Carnival, Royal Caribbean, or Marriott, they will pay at that group level. So all you have to register is that group booking number, and all of the payments for that group will come to that one group booking number. Everybody else, for the most part, you have to register, even if it's a group, you have to register each individual booking confirmation, not the group number, to get payment, because the actual vendor, even though it's a group, still pays to the individual booking confirmation. Can be a little bit confusing. We are working to enhance the commissions department and how we read the register your booking screen to include additional numbers, to say, hey, if you've got a reference number or a booking number or a group number or an individual, all the numbers you've got on your paper, register them. So we are working towards that to have it in one place. I do know a lot of people will register, if there's a reference number and a confirmation, sometimes they'll register it as both numbers. And that also will help us to locate your bookings faster. But it's very tricky, and I get it. There's no real science or rhyme and reason for me to be able to say, do it this way, do it that way, because every supplier is a little bit different. They want to keep it interesting, I suppose. So, so the best way to do it and register a booking, however, is always as soon as you get money on the booking. That's when you want to register the booking. Now, I know lots of times we don't, we'll pay for the commission 30 to 60 days after travel, and sometimes people wait until that time to actually register the booking. But we've gotten confirmation, we might have information, and if we get something, maybe there's a schedule change, or maybe there's something going on with the booking, and you haven't registered it yet, we don't know to pass you that information that we got from the supplier, so that to tell your clients, oh, this has changed, now go to, deck B instead of over on A, or the time for your activity changed. They're now picking you up at 5:30 instead of 6 o'clock. So that's why it's always important to register your booking as soon as there's money on the booking, because we do get information from the suppliers on bookings. We want to make sure we get you that information and know who those bookings belong to. Also, it'll save a step, because if you wait very late to register the booking and we get money on it, we don't know where to put it, so we put it in that suspend account. So now you've got to go through the process of having to claim the booking back from us and claim it as your own. And it's just extra steps that you have to do with customer service. So if you get in the habit of registering your booking as soon as there's money on the booking, that will save some of those scenarios that sometimes we run into. So there are some don'ts of commissions. One of the things you want to make sure you do not sell are net rates. What makes it difficult is some of our suppliers will quote you the net. Cruise lines do this a lot. You don't want the net. You want the gross. So if they say, okay, the net is 800, the gross is 1,000. If you only pay the $800, that means the commission hasn't been paid. So yay, your guests love you because you gave them a lower price. But guess what? When it's said and done, you're not going to earn any commission on that. The vendor's not going to send any because you didn't. You only had your clients pay to the net amount, right? So we want to avoid that because that's a whole bunch of work that you do, and you're selling your vacation packages. But if you only sell them to net, you're not going to make any money. So that's not the way to do it. In fact, we're going to look for our 30% because, hey, you booked it with our credentials, and it's really an InteleTravel booking, so we want our 30%. But if you're only sent it to net, then you've shortchanged everybody, and now we'll come knocking at your door looking for some money back. So we want to avoid that situation. So always have your clients pay to the gross, even if it's your booking. Lots of times we book our own travel, right? And, okay, it's a difference between a travel agent rate and paying to net. Those are two very different things. A travel agent rate, hey, go here for $99. That's the price. It's not really commissionable. They're just giving you the travel agent rate so you can come. Maybe it's a fam trip or whatever, and you're coming to take a look. That's totally different than a net rate. Even if it's your booking, you always want to pay to gross because, again, you can, if it's your booking, you pay to gross, you'll get the commission back on the booking, and that's fine. But if you only pay to net, now you're going to end up owing InteleTravel money on the booking, and you won't get anything. Also, you want to be mindful of discounts. Lots of times, if you're calling the vendors directly, lots of hotels, if you call them directly and ask for that a discounted rate, they can give it to you. But not all discounted rates are commissionable. You always want to ask if the rate is commissionable and give your credentials, because it might be an awesome internet rate or an awesome promo that they're doing, and they've discounted it so much, and it's, they'll come back and say it's not a commissionable rate. So you want to be mindful when you're calling those vendors directly and asking for discounts. You do want to make sure that you're not going in and being able to change other bookings. Now, really, the only vendor we have with that is actually our top preferred partner. One of our top ones is Carnival Cruise Lines. And there are a couple of vulnerabilities in their system that allow you to see other agents' bookings. So you really want to be mindful when you're going in that Go CCL to, if you wrote down and your confirmation number is an S or a 5, sometimes those look similar, or an L when it's an I, sometimes those look similar. So not only do you want to pull up the booking, but you want to look at the name of what you called it and make sure your agent name is showing before you make any changes. We are looking and working right now with Carnival to tighten that up a little bit with a program we're calling Secondary Phone Field, and that will help only have the bookings that you've made show. But in the meantime, please understand that vulnerability is there. Okay, so let's move on. How to read your commission report, what do you do if it's not paid, and where can you learn more about it? Let's go right to those things. Of course, in the back office, you'll want to go to My Commissions under My Agency tab. The My Commissions tab is right there, and when you click on it, you can see all the commissions that you've got. I have a sample here of what a commission report looks like, and a couple of things that I want to point out that we have added as enhancements. You're going to see over here where you've got estimated and you've also got scheduled. Of course, you've got your booking and everything shows. The estimated means if all goes well and there's no issues on the booking, we're estimating that we will get the money from the vendor by this date. And then we'll be able to pay you on that commission run, right? So that's what estimated means. Now, scheduled means once your estimated has switched to scheduled, scheduled means that money is in the bank. We've got it from the vendor, and this is when you're going to get your payment for that commission. Okay? So if the estimated date comes and goes, it doesn't change to scheduled and it stays as estimated, that's when you know, something's going on. Let me reach out to that vendor and see what's happening with my commission. Okay, so that would be the first call, to call the Hilton or to call Iberostar or to call the Ryu and say, hey, I made a booking with you and I've noticed that the date's come and gone and the commission hasn't been received. And see what they say. Now, sometimes there's a delay in the payment and oops, you're right, let me send that right out. Sometimes they'll say, oh, it wasn't a commissionable rate that was booked. And you'll say, oh, no. I know I made a change on that booking, but I talked to Rebecca on this day and this, and I verified that my credentials are in there. Please, let's see what can be done to change that around because I absolutely put my agency credentials in there. So you'll want to have that conversation with the vendor. Now, if they do say, oh, we sent the payment, then you'll definitely want to turn around, reach out to us and say, hey, the vendor said they sent the payment and it's not reflecting what's going on. Because I will let you know a little insight. Just like the technology has lots of different pieces, the payments have lots of different pieces to it too. There's not just a quick, easy file that we get from every single vendor. We are able to just push the button and all the money shows up. It's not that simple at all. There's lots of vendors that will send us just booking numbers and that's it, no names attached to them in one check. So it might be a check for, $200,000 just with booking numbers listed itemized. So again, if that booking is not registered in your back office and all we've got is a booking number, we have no idea who that belongs to, right? So you want to make sure you register those bookings. Sometimes the vendors will send the payments and it will not have any information on it at all. And it will just have no booking numbers, but just names. So again, it's the same thing. Sometimes they will actually put a stamp on it and mail it to us. It's not electronic at all. There's no electronic file. It's a check that we get in the actual mail. And you would be surprised the amount of vendors that still utilize paper checks. So there is no uniform system across the board with every supplier. And we've actually got to match up each booking for, to pay the commission. So, for example, so far for 2020, we have paid just shy of $5 million worth of commissions in January, February, and March. It's about $4.7 million that we've paid out for those 3 months so far. But each of those months, for example, January was $2 million in commissions, 1.6 in February, 1.1 in March. But the amount of transactions that make up that $2 million is about 45,000 transactions that we manually have to match up from the vendors to all of the different booking numbers in the back office. So that's why it's really, really key to register your bookings and to have it registered with the right number. It is a process, and like I said, we're always looking to streamline and improve it, but there's a lot of manual work that goes on there. So there are some things that maybe we have to look up, maybe we have to, match up, maybe we have to find it, and we appreciate your patience around that. Now, with this one, you can see, okay, the hyper wallet number. So that check number, when you click on it, that hyper wallet check number, and this is a commission that you've received. So it gives you the amount of the check, that hyper wallet check number, the date that was received, and it gives a breakdown, not only for hyper wallet, but right here in your back office of all the bookings that make up that payment. And if you are at a place where you're earning any overrides because of the amount of people on your team, it'll have your override breakdown as well on that check. Okay, so the commission research request. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, again, anything that you sell in your back office is commissionable. So a lot of people do ask that. So if you sell a car, a hotel, a airfare, well, you get the service fee for the airfares. Cruise, everything in your back office that you sell is commissionable. Even if there was a mistake and the aggregator that we got it through, maybe it's a booking.com or an Expedia or Hotels Pro, and they loaded something in there that wasn't commissionable, some kind of discount, we'll take the hit on that and we will pay your commission anyway. So anything that's in your back office is commissionable. But all of the outside bookings, I cannot say the same thing. So you do want to make sure that you're always asking for commissionable rates when you're going to the vendors directly and you're talking to them on the phone or you're booking on the internet. Because sometimes if you haven't entered your credentials and you're on the internet and you're just click, click, click and buy, they're going to think you're click, click, click buying as a consumer and not a travel agent, and they won't pay out the commission. So you definitely want to make sure, number one, that you've got a commissionable rate. Number two, of course, you always want to register your booking in the back office. Again, if it was something that you booked on your booking engine, it will get registered for you. Now, the booking engine bookings, 9 times out of 10, it's not a problem. The travel happens, and then, boom, you get paid for it. But I will say, and we sent out a communication on this, and I apologize for anybody that didn't receive it, that we had a delay with, and the communication I think was like in Facebook and that kind of thing. So it wasn't an official one. We'll do better next time with that. But there was a delay with Expedia sending us the commission payments and Booking.com sending us the commission payments and Viator. For whatever reason, they normally pay us on a quarterly basis, but those three, one happened over the summer in like July, one was in the fall, like around September, and another one was November. They didn't send their quarterly payment to us. There was a blip in their system for whatever reason, and it caused delay. Now, they're already only sending it to us once a quarter, and if they miss that deadline, then wow, we're really behind on posting those commission payments. So I do apologize for anybody that experienced a delay with a hotel booking or a activity booking, because more than likely that hotel was through Expedia or Booking.com and Viator for those activities. We've since caught up. So if there are any bookings, because we've received the payments from them and we've been able to post them. So if you're still looking in your back office and you have some activities or some hotels that were booked in your back office and you still haven't made payment for, please reach out with your request to customer services so that we can get those paid. But when it comes to the outside vendors, lots of the vendors are timely. Most of them are very timely, but some are a little sluggish. So we have to give them a nudge to say, hey, please go ahead and send us the payment. There are several occurrences where we've been a little sluggish in the timeliness to receive from the vendor. So that is, unfortunately, one of the things we would chase. We do have to wait 30 to 60 days after the travel has passed. I do get that question a lot, especially around cruises. Cruises pay the commission at final payment, and then they send us the commission. But the trip itself might not, maybe final payment was due in April, but the trip itself is not for, until July. And then they would take the trip, they come back in July, and then the next month, August, is when that commission's paid. The reason we wait till after the trip, and that's always been an InteleTravel rule, to wait till after the trip has happened, because there are issues or instances where things could come up, where maybe somebody cancels or somebody makes a change, they take days away, or they add more days. So, maybe they got the insurance, but for whatever reason, that client is not insurable because after they did the check on them, they found out that, they couldn't be insured after all. So if we paid out the commissions on those things and then we get changes or recalls, commission recalls from the supplier, now we're going back and chasing the agents to get money back. And that's just not a sound business model to fall into. So that is why we wait until after the travel is completed to pay agents their earned commission. Okay, so of course, when you have all those things, sorry, I lost my place on the slide. If you are more than 60 days have passed and you still haven't gotten your commission, then yes, absolutely, reach out to that vendor, see what's going on, reach out to us, and do a research request, and we'll be happy to help you. Okay, so a quick review before we jump into questions. I think I have a few minutes for questions. Absolutely, you can earn 70 or up to 80% for your travel sales, but please remember the promo that's going on right now. Hopefully you've all seen it in your email, is for bookings starting from now until the end of May. We will be paying the 80% payout. So even if you're right now at the 70% tier, it will be the 80% payout that you'll get for that. So please see that email communication that went out for more information. I think it's also posted on Facebook. Of course, avoid the big don'ts for booking travel. You want to make sure that you register your booking. You want to make sure that you did a commissionable rate. You want to make sure that you registered the correct booking number. And then you didn't pay a net rate. So make sure that those big don'ts. Of course, you can look in your InteleTravel back office under the commission tab. We, customer service, open 7 days a week to help you, which is great. Not all host agencies are open 7 days a week, so that is fantastic. Of course, you can go to the help tab for knowledge base and the help desk to be able to answer some more questions. Your weekly webinars are there for your education, so you can learn about the suppliers. And if you can get out, now I know not right now, we can't really get out, but if you can get out and go and see some of the different things, maybe it's a fam trip, maybe you're able to take advantage of a seminar at sea, maybe you live somewhere where you're able to do a ship inspection, or maybe you live in a city where, a lot of people go and visit. I know here in South Florida, there's lots of things where when you live there, you don't really do the touristy stuff, right? So New York, Chicago, LA, Seattle, Richmond, Atlanta, Savannah, Georgia, lots of, cities people go for vacation. If you happen to live there, look at the touristy stuff to do and check it out, because then you're able to give a little bit of insight on a tour or an activity or a great restaurant to eat. So all those things can help. Okay, so let me now jump to the question box and see where I can do. Oh, what criteria must you earn for that 80% commission? Normally, to jump to the 80% payout, you would want to sell $5,000 in a 12-month rolling period. So as soon as you hit that $5,000 in commissions, you would earn that next tier and be able to go to the 80%. Let's see. What's the difference between your IATA number, CLIA, and your agency PIN? Okay, so yes, the agency PIN is really just for InteleTravel purposes. Sometimes suppliers will take it for registration, which is great because that really helps us identify who the booking belongs to, but that's not really an agent credential to get your commission. Commissions are the IATA number, the 105-48020, or that CLIA number, 00323. Your CLIA number and your IATA number, those are the ones you want to give to make sure that you get credit as a travel agent and that the vendor will pay InteleTravel the commission, because those two numbers are tied to credentials. that you have to, pay exorbitant amount of money for to be able to have your IATA or your CLIA number as an agency. And so those numbers are what you give in order to get the benefits. Now, I know a lot of you have your own CLIA card. Now, that's different because the CLIA card, yes, you can have a CLIA card or an IATA card. A lot of you might have an IATAN card. And that is really for agent benefits. So your personal CLIA card or your personal IATAN card would be, if you want to get different discounts or benefits, or if you want to take, you might get a discount if you take some classes and you give your personal CLIA number. But that's not the number you give when you're making bookings. You always give the InteleTravel IATA or CLIA number. And that's where is the difference. Okay, so let's see. The address of the new InteleTravel building, yeah, we did move, so that's great. We are now at 1615 South Congress Avenue, still in Delray Beach. We're in Suite 105, but of course we're not there right now because we're at a stay-at-home order. So all the employees, we're happy to say no one has been furloughed. Our hours have not been cut. We are doing fabulous, and everybody is on a work-from-home schedule right now. I believe there was a communication that went out with the new address on it, so look for that in your email to have that. Let's see. How do you get the CLIA card? Well, of course, and the IATAN card. I'm getting some questions about CLIA and IATAN. So for the IATAN card, I'll take that one first. There are some restrictions on the IATAN card. You have to be with us at least a year, and you do have to have at least $5,000 in commissions. And then there's some paperwork you fill out. You get in touch with customer service. They'll send it to you. You fill out the paperwork, send it back to us, and we send it over to IATAN. It's I want to say it's a $40 fee, and you send out your picture, and they give you the card. It'll come in the mail. The CLIA card, you can sign up for that. There's really, it's not as restrictive as the IATAN card. So the CLIA, I want to say it's $69. You can go in, register for the CLIA, and make your payment. And then all we have to do is recognize you as an active agent with us, get approved by CLIA, and then you'll be able to get the card. So lots of folks get CLIA right out of the gate, that CLIA card, and absolutely you can do that. The thing about the CLIA card, it doesn't matter. Like the IATAN card is a rolling 12 months. So if I got my IATAN card in May of 2020, May of 2021, it'll be time to renew. CLIA, it doesn't matter if you got your card in September. All the CLIA cards will renew at the end of the year. So you always have to get a new CLIA card and a new registration at the end of the year. So when you start seeing those emails coming to you saying, hey, it's time to renew your CLIA, please try to renew it at the beginning. I know it's human nature to wait till the end of December and then try to renew your CLIA. But like this year, we were slammed with so many, and so was CLIA. We're CLIA's biggest client, by the way, slammed with so many renewals that it ended up backing up email a little bit, and we got behind because of all of the CLIA requests. So as soon as you get that CLIA, make sure that you do the renewal. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to see some more questions. Let's see. The flip boxes aren't showing. I'm seeing a lot of people saying the flip boxes aren't showing. It should be there. So if they're not, I will go and double check and get with our department to make sure those are turned on, because the flip boxes should be there. Sorry about that if they're not showing. Carnival, Marriott, Royal Caribbean are the three that will pay to group level. Everything else, you always have to register the individual bookings. Now, a lot of you are putting your own scenarios in here. If you do have specific scenarios, I would ask that you contact customer service on that so that we can help you. How do you know if you're paying the net? Okay, lots of times, I mean, they'll tell you, hey, you're paying to net. And it's really confusing with some of the suppliers. I'll tell you why. Some of the suppliers will quote to net because they will let you mark up, your own amount. So they'll say, okay, well, the net price is $800, and you know that that's an awesome price. So you might charge your client $1,300 because you went out there and everybody else is $1,500. So they'll quote you to net, and you can play with your margins, right? The second one, they might quote you to net because you might be utilizing maybe tour conductor credits or different cruise credits and all that kind of thing. And it really gets confusing if you only pay to net and are also trying to use those tour conductors. So don't listen to, they're always going to send you a breakdown or an invoice. Look at your invoice. On the invoice, it's going to have the total. It'll have net, commission about, gross, grand total. Some of them, they do it different ways, but they're always should itemize it out for you on that invoice. So you always want to look at the invoice and make sure you're paying to gross and not to net. That's the easiest way to make sure. Okay. Yes, the webinar is recorded for anybody that came on a little bit later. It'll show in your InteleTutorial section in your back office in a couple of days. Let's see, what else have I got here? You register in the back office as soon as you book. The best I can give you around registering your booking for outside bookings, as soon as you take money on the booking, that's when you should register. So if it's just a quote, of course you're not going to register that because you don't know if your client's going to go for it or not. But as soon as you put either a deposit or if it's, the travel date's very soon and you've got to take full payment, you've got to register that booking as soon as you take money from your client. That's the best practice. Because again, if we get announcements of updates or changes from that supplier, we can send them directly to you and you'll be able to get that information. And also we'll know who the booking belongs to when it comes to the payment. Okay, let's see. Can you make a change to register your outside booking? Happened to the rest of that. Can I make a change to a booking? Well, you can. Yes, I mean, if you have a booking, you need to make a change. Sure, you can contact that vendor or go back online, make whatever changes you need, and it'll be fine. The price might adjust up or down, so you may need to adjust that in the back office. That's fine too. All that can be done. We may need to make sure that the booking number, sometimes the booking numbers will be different. Sometimes the booking number will be the same. So if they give you a new booking number, then you want to make sure you register that new booking number because that means they're not going to pay to the old booking number anymore. They're going to pay to the new one. Let's see. Yes, vacation bookings have to be registered in the back office. Yes, that is considered an outside booking. Let's see. Where are the shared logins located? Okay, all of that is going to be in your back office. When it says how to register, you can click that link and it will give you all those shared versus individual logins. The sample quote forms, a lot of the forms are going to be also in your back office, so you can look for those forms there. Now, I remember I do see a lot of individual scenarios and situations. Please, with that scenario situation, either call us in the morning or do the live chat. Right now, the phone is the best vertical. I've got only, if from 0 to 1:30 is the average hold time on the telephone. So you'll definitely want to utilize that and our chat feature. to get some of these questions answered. I know I've gone over, and I don't have a prize tonight. I'm sorry. Oh, I know. The prize was me at the webinar. Yay! I'm so silly. Okay, so anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Yes, this webinar is recorded, and it is going to be in your InteleTutorial section of your back office. Please, please, I will do some of these webinars throughout the year more often, because we are going to bring enhancements and changes to the back office. We are continuing to improve it so that it's more user-friendly and easier to make sure that you get those bookings and you get those commission payments, and that we're understanding the workflow and the process. So I thank you so much for joining me tonight, and please look for more announcements to come throughout the year. Please, everybody, stay safe and healthy. Heed the advisories that are going out there. Make sure we're practicing our social distancing. But hey, we're still selling, and we're doing a great job. A lot of bookings are coming through late 2020, early 2021. So we did about $2.5 million in sales last week. So we're definitely, I see you guys still working hard. Appreciate the partnership. Thank you so much, everyone, and please have a good night. Thank you.